Hello, welcome to the Mile High webinar. This is Dr. Daniel Knowles, and I want to remind you, if you have been living under a rock and have not registered yet for Mile High, August 21st to 23rd, 2015, just go to www.milehighchiro.org, and I hope you're enjoying these webinars with all of our presenters, and so you can start your Mile High experience now. And I am more than excited to be here with our guest today, who's just humbly taking of his time to be with all of us today, as well as to be at Mile High in August, which is Dr. Marc Swerdlick. He is an incredible chiropractor. He runs S Group. People know him through the Realm and the Sandbox, and so many things he's done for chiropractic. I could go on and on and on, as well as some things he's done outside of chiropractic. And furthermore, he was involved with Tisch School of the Arts, where at NYU, where I also ran the radio station back in the day, so we have that kind of bond. And welcome to Mile High webinar, Dr. Marc.
Thanks, Danny. Pleasure to be here. Looking forward to being at the event, and I'm going to be bringing a presentation that's going to blow the roof off of the Mile High city. So I'm very much looking forward to coming out there and really experiencing the high of Denver.
You mean that in multiple ways?
It
sounds.
Ways, you know. I did inhale, so I'm looking forward to being out there, being at your event, and it's a real honor for me. So just I don't want to rush life, but I am looking forward to August.
Good. I'm looking forward to spending some time with you out here and you being part of the event. I want to start off people getting to know you a little bit. People know you as the Dark Lord, all right, within the chiropractic profession. How about a little bit about what your background is in chiropractic and outside of chiropractic?
All right. Well, let's if you don't mind, I'll start outside of chiropractic because
let's go for that.
And you'll have to pardon me, I'm at the tail end of expressing health. So the Dark Lord thing actually has nothing to do with chiropractic. The name didn't come from inside the profession. It has nothing to do with the devil. It has nothing to do with Star Wars, Harry Potter, or anything religious or evil or anything like that. I'll get to that in a second, but to wind back the tape a little bit, my education is in marketing, advertising, with a focus on strategy, and then the other side of the coin is behavioral economics, specifically consumer psychology. So in other words, understanding why people make the decisions they make, why they do what they do. So my psychological background has nothing to do with counseling at all. It's simply observing human behavior. So with that, I started a marketing company a long time ago. Even before I had graduated, I had used knowledge that I had accumulated even while I was in undergrad, and through a lot of mentoring from advertising legends at the time. And I started a company in 1986 while I was living in Manhattan. And essentially, I'm now going on 30 years next year of being in the marketing world. My gateway into chiropractic was a great experience I had when I was at Syracuse on the crew team. I was the smallest guy on the team. I was a walk-on, and long story short, basically had an injury, and this chiropractor helped me where no one else could. And it was one of these things where I sat back and go, one day this is something I'd like to pursue. And so that day came when I was in my late 20s, and I still retained my marketing company. I kind of reduced it a little bit so I could still maintain the operation. I went out to Davenport, Iowa, and wanted to learn how to do this. I didn't really have any intention on practicing. But once I saw really the impetus to practice was just simply listening to practice management company people come to the school and tell everybody what they couldn't do or how they had to practice. You had to do screenings, you had to do talks, you had to give away care, and all of these things that actually outside the chiropractic bubble make no sense. And, there's a reason why the profession isn't overall doing well. You talk to individual chiropractors and each one says, I'm doing great. And then you look at their bank account and, it's a different story. So, I looked at what was going on and I said, I'm actually going to build a practice. It's going to be direct payment. I don't like the term cash practice. I think that's a foolish term. Direct payment means I'm not going to accept the payment from the insurance company. I have nothing against insurance. I just don't want to be directly dealing with them. If people want to get reimbursement in my practice, that's their business, but not my problem. Mm-hmm. And so we built up a nice sized practice, and we did very, very, very well. We kept copies of everything, so that when eventually I started doing my own seminars, I could walk into the seminar and say, here are the receipts. Mm-hmm. Here's what I've done. At one of the seminars, I gave away 5 $100 gift cards to Cheesecake Factory if people would take the little Office Depot solar calculators and add up all the receipts for the year. That way, because, remember, chiropractors are very good at two things, lying about volume and lying about revenue. And I didn't want to be accused of either. So, I wanted to start off the relationship with my audiences by making sure we're on equal ground in terms of how we looked at the world of math and accounting. So anyways, I did a bunch of chiropractic seminars. I've written 13 books total, manuals for chiropractors in various forms. The 14th will be Persuasion 6, and then the one following that will be called Strategic Chiropractic Communication. And all of the products that I come out with are strategy-based, which basically means I'm not here to give you a system that gives you a specific script to recite to a patient. Rather, here's the general structure of what you should be saying in the order that the human brain wants to hear it. Mm-hmm. And this is the same psychology, if you will, that advertisers use when they're creating a commercial. They're creating a commercial for broad appeal. They're not creating a commercial for one type of person, typically, unless it's, something on the Bravo network or on the cooking channel. I know you like Bravo a lot in those shows. So,
Actually, I know you like the cooking channel.
A real man likes to learn how to cook and barbecue well, and I think those little pastries that you make are wonderful. I'm so excited for you. In any case, that's where I'm coming from. I look at the world through a set of eyes that you could basically describe as strategy, how to get things done. Now, just to sidetrack, I built up at the same time my marketing company outside the profession. It's doing quite well. It is substantially larger than my practice, exponentially larger. I work with people outside the profession, small to medium-sized businesses, and I also speak. I do about 225 events a year, sometimes multiple in a day. They might be an hour long, they might be a couple hours long, and again, the focus is on strategy and personal betterment. In other words, how to get things done, how to get from A to Z. No fluff, no motivation, no you can do it. The power that made the body heal the body. No fluff, it's all very hardcore material. At one of these events many, many, many years ago, I was speaking, and I was kind of your junior level speaker. And one of the keynote speakers was a very famous person, and I'm not going to name drop, but a very well-known person who has now departed the earth. But real, just incredible person in terms of talent on the speaking side and just overall being a nice guy. And he had never said anything to me. And on our third encounter, he grabbed me, stopped me, said, I like the way you present. You're very hardcore. You're very in your face, because that is my presentation style. I'm not, like I said, not into fluff. And he said, you're kind of like the Dark Lord of marketing. And I said, wow, I like that. After many years, I secured that website. I secured the Facebook presence. I secured the Twitter handle. And I trademarked the name. So I'm one of 3 people in the United States who owns a trademark in a category that's able to use the Dark Lord.
That's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome, because I'm actually the only one of the 3 that I can legally sign my name. So it says it right on, if you go to the USPTO and you look at the trademark, there I am. So for me, it's just a marketing niche for people who are very religious. Obviously, they find a sense with that, which for me it brings me an enormous amount of pleasure, because sometimes you have to, you got to rock the boat a little bit just to get people to listen. So that's my quick and dirty story.
Well, a lot of chiropractors are, and I know you're helping people outside the profession, so I'm not ignoring that. A lot of chiropractors have really raved about the help that you've given them, because you've helped them thrive and break out of the mold of a lot of the old school chiropractic marketing that has turned off the public in some areas. And one of the things, and we have to face the fact that, we're seeing less than 10% of the population, and college enrollment is down. And as you've stated and pointed out many times, and maybe it is a time for us to make a shift in how we're getting the message out. And so that's why I'm really excited for you to be there and for people to learn from you, so they can start shifting their mindset, and not just their mindset, but obviously their strategy. I want to ask you this, or point out this one thing, if we can cover one area just in a little bit, which is one of the things I've personally noticed and from you and learned from you, and just my little bit that I've touched the surface of getting to learn from you, is so much of what I've done in marketing my own practice has been promotions, promoting promotions, promoting the next appreciation day, the next dinner, the next screening, promoting whatever special is going on. And I thought that was marketing. And what I've learned from you, that's not marketing.
Correct.
So can you help people understand that a little bit?
Okay. Well, whenever you're trying to establish a relationship between, whether you're selling a product or a service, so as chiropractors, we're selling a service.
Right.
Regardless of what that is, the term that is described, the umbrella term, in creating a relationship such that someone wants what you are selling, is called marketing. Now, under marketing is strategy, marketing strategy, advertising, promotion, and public relations. Okay? Marketing is the marketing strategy branch of that. Under that is the process of giving people the type of information through various what we call marketing channels, such that they decide on their own, I need this. So if I were to run ads talking about the various features that you would find in, let's say, the new Mercedes CLS. And if I were to run ads weekly showing you how well we made the seats, how well we made the steering wheel, how great the engine is, a whole ad just on the brakes, that's marketing. Because what we're doing, the actual act of what we're doing is advertising, because we're running ads. But the marketing component of that is we're educating people about the features. If I go out and I do a spinal screening, that is not marketing, that is promotion, because at that point what I'm doing is trying to create some type of interaction to get people to take a leap and step into my bubble. In other words, it's a barrier reducer. Mm-hmm. So that's what promotions are. A promotion is when you go to the food court and there's someone sitting there with a tray of chicken and toothpicks and they're asking you to try the chicken. That is a promotion to get you to buy lunch in the food court at the Asian place, for example. That's a promotion. A coupon is a promotion. A free adjustment on your birthday, which I completely disagree with, it's a very bad thing to do, is a promotion. It is not marketing. So if you look at the chiropractic landscape, okay, ads that have coupon offers, is that marketing or is that really promotion? I mean, it's through an ad, but it's really a promotion.
Got it.
And the mistake is that chiropractic is very promotion heavy and not very strategy heavy. Mm-hmm. And that is, when you look at what the percentage is, the percentage I tend to, the number is somewhere around 4%. But even if it were, let's say, 10%, you got to ask yourself, is what we're selling something that everyone needs? Does everyone need to be checked for subluxation? And the answer is yes. Everyone should be checked for subluxation, vertebral subluxation on a regular basis. So we should be seeing a larger percentage of the population. And because we're not, you have to then ask yourself, well, is what we're doing working? And any reasonable person would say, well, no, it's not. It may be working for me. It might be making me rich, but overall it's not helping the profession. And of course, at the end of the day, most people are very self-serving and they don't really care about the profession. But if they did as a whole, if the profession grows, you grow with it. If the profession thrives, we all thrive. And so you have to ask yourself, is what we're doing working on a large scale? And it's not. And that is because it is very promotion heavy. When something's very strategy heavy, you're spending more energy educating in a very persuasive manner. So that's why, one of my manuals is called Pre-Suasion, not Persuasion, because I'm very much an advocate of a pre-sale strategy, getting out there and spending a lot of time, a lot of energy, getting people really excited about what you want. There's a book that I wrote that's privately published. You can't buy it anywhere. Eventually I'm going to sell it to the public, but it's called Make Them Thirsty. Mm-hmm. And you've heard the expression, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And so with the book that I wrote, the position I take is if you make them thirsty and then you lead them to water, you won't have to make them drink. They'll want to drink all on their own. Mm-hmm. And in chiropractic, we don't get that. No. And I say we, I don't include myself. Chiropractors just don't get that as a profession. But outside the chiropractic bubble, very successful businesses do get that.
Right. And then you're interacting with someone who's a buyer.
Correct.
When they're in your office.
Exactly. I mean, I worked with a very prestigious BMW dealership as a client. And the owner said to me, he said, we're wasting a lot of time. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to share it.
No, yeah.
And the owner said, we're wasting our salespeople. Have 4 key salespeople who we would like to see do well. These are sales professionals. We want them to make a lot of money. They have families to feed and what have you. Right. They're wasting a lot of time with people who are not really qualified to buy what we would like to sell, which is a fully loaded BMW with all the extras. Right. And so you would have a lot of people coming in going, I really want a BMW. And, lo and behold, in their account, they only have maybe $16,000. And, but they've just wasted the salesperson's time,
Right.
So, what we did is we created essentially a pre-sale team where you wouldn't get to sit down with the salespeople. You would get to sit down with these junior people
Right.
who would answer any questions, but would guide you more towards the website into material, so that eventually when you sat down with the actual salespeople, you had already gone through a filtration process where you were 100%. The people sitting down with the salespeople were all 100% buyers. There were no tire kickers. The tire kickers were already filtered out, 10 steps earlier.
Right.
And that's what you want coming into your practice. You spend a lot of time educating it over and over again, and that's important, but it would be better to have more people coming in saying, you know what, I get it.
Right.
I get it. I get I should be checked. I get what I should be checked every week. I get why my family should be checked. I want what you have.
Right.
So
right.
That's how I look at the world.
You'd burn out a doctor, you burn out a staff, and you burn out the profession. So, and honestly, that I got that message from you when I was at Scott Garber's excellent event, the Berkshires event, and I was like, wow. And that was I thought this is such an important message for practitioners. So, before I ask you the next question, I want to make sure that people know how to find you. So if chiropractors want to find you, want to know more about you, how do they do that?
The best way to do that, well, there's a couple ways. I think the best way to get to know me per se, if they're interested in me, and I hope they're not, but there is a group on Facebook called Realm. There's a group before Realm called the Sandbox. I started the Sandbox. It's kind of like a biker bar for chiropractors. It's not meant to be professional in terms of interaction. That group is sort of defunct now. The main group is a secret group called Realm, and if you know somebody who knows somebody, you can get in there, and that's a great way to have a conversation. Beyond that, if you're interested in the products that I have available for chiropractors, you can go to www.mindvirus.com, and you can click on products, and there's a whole section just for chiropractors, and you can click on that, and away you go. There's an e-zine. We haven't had an issue in a short time. I've had to divert some of our time for other reasons, but we're going to be starting that up again. And you can enter your email and receive the weekly e-zine. And that's like an electronic newsletter. And that is, again, some insight specific to marketing strategy and also personal betterment. When I say personal betterment, I don't like the term personal improvement, but basically how to do things better in life. And I present it to you in a way where there's no BS, no fluff, none of this law of attraction garbage or anything like that. Just hardcore, here's how to do it. So that is the best way to get more information in terms of either getting to know me or my company.
Well, that's good because I want more chiropractors to get what you have to offer. And that's why I'm having you out at Mile High, because I think what you're sharing is very important, not just for individual practitioners, but for the profession as a whole and at large. So I want to ask you another last question here. And, again, you never fail to deliver. You just gave people a lot of great information and content in this webinar. I know you're going to do that when you're out in Colorado. Last year, you sent me a message. You gave me some advice on putting our event together a little bit better, but you also sent me a message that you really liked what we were doing out here. What did you like, and why are you excited, or what were you excited about in terms of what we're doing?
Well, you look at the landscape of events out there, and I've had the privilege to speak at some events. And in some cases, some of the events that I've spoken at, I don't think they were necessarily right for me. The atmosphere wasn't right for me. The other speakers, it just didn't seem to kind of work. So when you look at the events out there, there are from from my observation, and in one case my experience, and that would be with Scott Garber's events, the Berkshire Philosophy event, which I've spoken at the last 2 years, but have really enjoyed attending. You can kind of look at the individual creating the event, look at the speakers, look at the camaraderie and how people leave the event, and you can get a sense of what's going on. And, Scott knocks it out of the park. He does a great job. And as people were leaving Mile High last year, everybody that I communicated with said we had a great time. It was a great event. I think the speakers felt compelled to bring some solid information rather than just plugging their materials, which, I don't plug my materials from the stage. In fact, if you hadn't asked me, I would have brought up my own materials. I can't stand when they sell from the stage. It's because you're really paying to fly out there for them to sell to you. So it seems I'm not into it. So people who left your event had nothing but great things to say. It was a great experience. It wasn't just that it was out in Colorado, out in that area, which is beautiful. That in itself makes it a great event to attend. But the fact that you really you could tell you put everything into it, that you care, that you are trying to make a change in the profession for the better, simply by the nature of how you are crafting your weekend. And so that's why I'm excited to be there. I know you personally, we're friends. I like you. I know you have a great character. And so, right off the bat, in my opinion, no matter what you put your hands on, it's going to be good. But also hearing the feedback from other people who said, it wasn't a sell-a-thon. It wasn't just, a lot of shouting and screaming and, a lot of other garbage.
Right.
But it was just the opposite, just a fantastic event that, that's why I'm looking to be a part of it. I think the speakers are compelled to really bring something so that when you get on the plane, it's not, hey, what can I use Monday morning, but here's what can enhance my practice weeks, months, years ahead. So
I'm really grateful that that's the feedback you got, because that's exactly what we were going for. So I really appreciate that. And coming from the Dark Lord, or should I say my Lord,
disrespectful to your Lord.
Then I appreciate the help and help you helping it be an even better event this year for people, because I want to raise the bar, and people get even better experience this time. So grateful for you to be out again, for people to find you. If they know someone, they can get into the exclusive Realm group by asking that way, right? Or it's exclusive.
I don't know. But yeah. You have to have a strong stomach, by the way. If you're coming into Realm, you have to have your big boy and big girl clothes on, because the language can get a little challenging. But it's a very good place to meet chiropractors. Danny, you're in there. We've got other folks like Christopher Kent and Matt McCoy and a whole bunch of other folks in there. So find your way into Realm. Contact me via Facebook if you want, and I'll bring you in there as long as if you have the guts to friend me. And but go ahead.
And also www.mindvirus. And so if you want to have more Marc Swerdlick, okay, and if you want to get more from the whole Mile High event, get out to Colorado in August 21st to 23rd, 2015, #MH3, and it's www.milehighchiro.org. And the theme we went to for this year is Return of the Chiropractor, because I really want to see chiropractic look more like chiropractic. I want to inspire practitioners for chiropractic to look more like chiropractic and not like something else. And I'm glad you're helping people do that as well too.
So. Thank you. I'm looking forward to being out there, and I never give the same presentation twice ever. and I'm bringing something very, very special out there. You're going to need a notebook. There's going to be a lot of good stuff. It's not like I said, not basic stuff like, get up early in the morning and, do some stretches. That's hardcore material that you have not heard me present before. So I'm pumped to be there, and it's going to be a great event.
Should I get up in the morning early and do some stretches? Is that something I should do?
You should do some exercise for other reasons we've discussed.
On that note, let's sign off. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on Mile High. We'll see you all there.